Hey, tough and the out of this world story from Street Travel. There are ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back in Street Travel. I am your host Manir.
My 22 female cousin, 24 male, is getting married next week. He proposed to his girlfriend, 25 female, on Wednesday and wants to get married by next Saturday. They want to hold the ceremony at our grandparents' house, for which I have a legal inheritance of. I have no objections to them wanting to get married there or anything. Also, there is no reason to technically rush the wedding, but they say they are in a very happy place and want to be married as soon as possible. Well, whatever floats their boat. They want to hold a ceremony in the backyard where there's this platform of sorts where they want the wedding party to sit during the reception. The thing is, one of the bridesmaids, 24 or 25 female, is a wheelchair user, and so they wanted to add a ramp to the platform. Now the conflict is, they asked me to get a ramp there. I've talked to the contractor who has done most of the furniture and stuff in that house, and he says he can only get to it next month, that he's busy with some personal affairs. I told my cousin this, and he and his fiancée are very mad at me when I refuse to hire a different contractor or get quick work done. I have offered to attach a temporary ramp, the detachable kind which I could rent from a nearby shop, instead. The bridesmaid is refusing this, saying she deserves a better, accommodative and accepting facility. The thing to be noted is that my cousin doesn't want to pay for a ramp construction since it's not his house, and doesn't even want to pay any percentage of renting a ramp. Also, the rest of the house is wheelchair accessible since my grandma needed it, including the washrooms. It's only this platform that for some reason doesn't have a ramp. It only has stairs. Now, I don't want any sloppy or expensive ramp done in a rush, because I don't have that kind of money saved or want to compromise the quality. The bride texted me saying she and my cousin have always walked on eggshells around me to make accommodations for my handicap and feelings, and this is the least I can do for them. For reference, my handicap is my autism. It's never occurred to me that it's a handicap or issue for people, at least my family, to be around me. When I talked to my parents about this, they were very angry at her and refused to attend the wedding where their kid was disrespected. When my aunt, the groom's mom, found out about this whole thing, she was red angry and said she might not attend the wedding also. Now the bride is calling me an ableist and instigator. I might be the a-hole for understanding what they have sacrificed all their life to be around me, so this was my chance to help them and I refused to accommodate. So am I the a-hole? What? For the opinion? No, OP, you are not the a-hole. At all. I would say your cousin and his bride are the biggest a-holes here. I mean, you're doing them a favor. I'm assuming they're not gonna pay anything because it's like a family home or something and you're allowing them to use it as their wedding venue. And not only that, but they're insisting that you should pay for the ramp completely, considering you don't need it, and it's not even your wedding. Are they also going to ask you to pay for the food, the band, and all of that other stuff? Tell them to go get bent. If I was in your shoes, my reply to that horrible message that your cousin's bride sent you would be, well then go find yourself another venue, goodbye. And then I'd block her. Also, I don't know if it's the irony that escapes her, or she's just blatantly stuck on D that she's calling you a navalist considering the message that she sent you. So yeah, OP, bottom line is I don't think you're the a-hole. It's definitely your cousin and his bride who are the a-holes here, so just tell him to get lost. Now for the comments. Embrace the Gray says, not the a-hole. Your house is not a wedding venue, it's your home. Any and all expenses for them using or modifying should first be approved by you and paid for by them. It's enough of a favor to let them use your home. Do you realize the time and effort that's going to be on you to have a whole bunch of people in and out of your home using your bathrooms, kitchen, etc., the cleaning before and after, the paper supplies, sewage, water usage, and more? Yeah, you are not the one who should be bending backwards for this event. In fact, you wouldn't be to blame if you changed your mind because of their ridiculous demands and expectations. Way too much. And OP responds, wait, so when they ask for the venue, they won't be cleaning after the event themselves. Isn't that the protocol to clean after yourself? By yourself I mean hiring cleaning staff or something. Yes, people using the bathroom, kitchen, and house in general I know and understand will happen, but after cleaning is what I thought is normal. Manurain4001 says, my brother uses a wheelchair, and I asked him about this. His opinion is that the bridesmaid is full of it, not the a-hole. They are taking advantage of you. A temporary ramp is a very reasonable and convenient alternative. It's interesting that in this entirely wheelchair-accessible house, they pick the most inconvenient spot and ask you to deal with it. You don't owe them your time, money, or house OP. It sounds like someone is salty you inherited the house from your grandma. Your parents need to do a bit more to support you. They clearly see what these people are doing, and they need to step up and mediate things or find someone with a backbone in your family or community that will stand by your side. And OP responds, "Thank your brother for me." Inheritance was really sort of our pick. Our grandparents asked who wanted what type of situation. He asked for the car. The house sort of came to me since I had no preferences. So being salty about his own preference seems illogical. Dr. Tennis 13 says, "Why are you even considering spending money for a cousin's wedding at such short notice? Or at all? Are they paying for the use of your house, or are they just so entitled that they feel the world should stop and cater to their wedding? Not the whole for any of this. You offered reasonable accommodation for a temporary ramp, which they should pay for. And if that isn't good enough, they can find and pay for another venue. And if the bride feels like she has to walk on eggshells around you, the appropriate response, well, maybe having the wedding at my house isn't the best idea then, since you would feel uncomfortable at your own wedding. Time to retract the offer of using the house and let them figure something else out. Most restaurants and event centers are completely handicapped accessible, but I have a feeling they are unwilling to pay for that. Not the EJOL, but if they keep pressuring you, hand them a bill for the rental of the house that includes the temporary ramp rental and setup, as well as the costs of disposables that will be used, toilet paper and soap in the bathrooms, etc., as well as a bit for the power and your inconvenience. And OP responds, "I am not technically spending money on the wedding per se, besides the ramp. I never thought of disposables as expense, but when you visit someone's home, they don't really ask you for reimbursement for using toilet paper or soap. That seems unfair, since it's not really a venue, just a family home. I might not even go to the wedding, it seems." Additional information from OP's comments. The house was our grandparents' house, and it seems weird to not allow my cousin to use it now. Also, the house isn't in use. I don't even live there, but it's mine. The deed is transferred in my name, and no one, wheelchair user or not, goes there regularly. There's a store where we can rent a ramp from. I haven't seen or booked a ramp yet, so we don't know anything about its safety. But it's a pretty popular place, so I don't think safety would be an issue. I have difficulty in-person shopping at stores because of all of the sensory overload causing overstimulation, so one of my friends is going to check out the ramps. Maybe we'll find out more then. The thing for me is that I have sensory and social issues, and talking to new people is still very difficult for me. The contractor I mentioned has known me for over 10 years, and so talking and discussing work with him is easy. He understands my issues and communication. The new contractor they hire might cheap out on quality, or ruin the pre-existing things is what I am worried about, since I don't trust their choices anymore and I know I won't be able to effectively communicate with him myself. It's my shortcoming, I accept it. It's a problem. OP's added. Mostly everyone is saying I shouldn't let them host the wedding there. Seems unfair, since it was his grandparents' home too. But yes, I may not attend the wedding. It's disrespectful, I see. Thanks for everything. I posted a request for an update. Hopefully it will be up soon. Alright, well, the community is aligned in saying that OP is not the a-hole, and they had very good reasons to say so. Also, OP gave us a little bit more context regarding the house and how she's the owner, and what's going on with it. Update. Thank you everyone for all the comments and explanations. It really helped me understand the entirety of the situation. Well, after reading all the comments, the general consensus was to not let them use my house for their wedding. And when I asked my parents about this, they wholeheartedly agreed. It so happened that we were at the house, we being my parents and my aunt, groom's mom, when I texted my cousin saying, "I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with you hosting the wedding or reception in my house." And he simply texted back, "Okay." Okay. That's when my aunt called him up and started yelling about how he was raised better and his being disrespectful to his sister. She meant it as the cousin sister, me. Isn't what she ever expected. She said she won't attend the wedding, and when undoubtedly the marriage fails, he'll come back to his senses and his family. To say that he was shocked would be an understatement. He immediately came over to meet us all, and when I told him about the handicap text from his bride-to-be, he was taken aback. He apologized profusely. He literally said he's begging for forgiveness. Yes, he was irrational about demanding the ramp, but the bridesmaid was emotionally manipulating him and blackmailing him a lot. The bridesmaid was playing a lot of sick mind games. The basic bone TCH move being she won't attend the wedding or won't let her best friend marry into an inconsiderate family, to the extreme being she'll get him fired under unfairness and discrimination case at their workplace. They work in the same company, and he's her boss, technically. Anyway, long story short, he called off the wedding and has gone no contact with his fiancée. She saw the original post on Reddit and texted me, calling me a tattletale dimwit. So F you, Carol. Also, as it turns out, they were rushing the wedding because she didn't want to sign a prenup. Dodged a bullet there, it seems. Yes, she said this part herself, yelling in rage. So, no wedding. But my aunt is hosting dinner the night of the wedding, was supposed to be, and making my favorite dishes. Once again, thank you everyone. Well, OP, this is an all-rounder happy update in my book. You're not hosting the venue for your idiotic cousin and that gold digger he used to call a bride. Thank you for sharing. Story 2. I, 22 female, donated my eggs 3 years ago to my friends Vic and Mel, 30 male, and 32 male, since they wanted to have a baby. I wasn't the surrogate, but just the egg donor. Back then, they used to say how I'll be the coolest godmother or aunt to the baby and we'll be a big happy family, etc. Fast forward to when the baby was born. I only found out through social media posts, and when I congratulated them, they hesitantly said that since I'm the biological mother of the baby, my meeting the baby might hamper their bonding as parental figures, and so they didn't want me to meet him until he's at least 2 years old. Well, it's their kid and their call, so I never questioned it or argued about it. Last week was baby's 2nd birthday, and they invited me to the party. And well, I'm good with kids. It's easy to just pretend to enjoy whatever game they are playing and laugh along. They noticed him getting along with me too well and requested that I keep some distance from him. I was weirded out, but complied nevertheless. Well, yesterday, they texted me saying that Vic has some family emergency, and they needed me to take the baby for 2 days. I agreed and texted them my babysitting rates. As a friend, I would have agreed, but since they never let me interact with the baby and acted weird when I met the baby, I said I will charge them. Now Mel is all over the internet ranting about how it's called parenting and not babysitting when it's your own baby, etc. I think I might be the a-hole because I asked for money from my friends when they have an emergency to deal with. So am I the a-hole for babysitting a child who's supposed to be biologically mine? For the opinion. No, OP, of course not. I'm sorry, but they can't have it both ways. That's not how things work. First they're calling you a godmother or an aunt. Then they're saying that you can't bond with their child because it might hamper their bond, which I honestly don't understand where that logic comes from. And now because they need you to take their child, they're pissed at you because you said it's babysitting, but it's your biological child, so it's not babysitting. I'm sorry, OP, that's not your child. Your involvement ended when you donated your eggs. You didn't give birth to the baby. You're not raising the baby. Heck, you have no contact with the baby whatsoever, so yeah. Even if it is biologically linked to you, it is babysitting if they want you to take the child for 2 days while they go do whatever they need to do, so yeah, OP, not the a-hole. I honestly don't think these people are your friends and you should just let them handle it themselves. It's not your problem. Now for the comments. Deleted says, well, you don't need to worry about this question because when people start blasting you on social media, you are not under no obligation to do anything for them. Of course, you're not the a-hole. You're not the baby's parent. This was not an open adoption. You have 0 parental rights, right? And you've had 0 roles in the baby's life. On top of that, although you're bending over backwards to be cool about it, I think it would be fair enough to feel hurt and sad that after promising you a role in the baby's life, they cut you off. You don't owe them a thing. I'm not telling you that you should dump them. Because of the baby, this is not an average situation where friends suddenly reveal themselves to be Joan RKS, or immature or whatever is going on here. Whether you decide to have a relationship with them or not, you do not owe them a thing, and it is totally appropriate to ask for babysitting money. You're not a doormat to contact only when they need something. Harles Bronson says, not the a-hole. I would reevaluate the friendship. You did them this huge favor, and instead of being grateful, they are punishing you by not letting you meet the baby for 2 years and getting upset when you interact with the baby. Guilt-tripping you and blasting you on the internet is just the cherry on top. They don't seem to value you much as a person or have any respect for you. Their insecurities are unfounded. DNA doesn't make you bond to a child. Actively parenting and caring for them does. They can't simultaneously prevent you from being a part of the child's life, and then be mad because you won't babysit a child they have made very clear isn't yours. They are total drama. Shallows 1542 says, not the Ijo. The baby doesn't even know you and is not going to like being dumped with a stranger for 2 days. You are not a parent. They have made it very clear that they find you to be a threat to their own bond with the baby and want you at a distance. They chose that and don't get to rant about it now when it's convenient to them to have you watch the kiddo, especially since after these 2 days you probably won't see the kid again. OP's added, I just found out from a friend that the emergency is his sister's plans to have lip and cheek fillers and he wants them to be there to emotionally support her. Well, the community absolutely agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and that they are not OP's friends at all. And also, in OP's edit, we found out what the family emergency was, which makes them look more like a couple of jackasses. Well, they are. Anyways, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Firstly, thank you for the overwhelming response to the original post. I couldn't reply to comments in the awards. I don't know how they work, because well, on the first day I was overwhelmed among the autism spectrum and then things got legally messy. And on top of it all, they want me to donate them more eggs. So here's what happened. As a lot of people pointed out, I was too young to be an egg donor at 19. I even had to start hormonal preps at 18. I checked out with the doctor and she said it was fine. But it turned out that their lawyer, he's well known for a history of shady stuff, almost sued the clinic when they refused the procedure in the preliminary steps. Legally, I wasn't sure I'd be in the clear for not having the baby's custody. A lot of people said I should just fight for the baby's custody, but 1, I'm not ready to be a parent financially or emotionally. And 2, I don't want to do anything with that family anymore. Now on to the social media kerfuffle. When one of my friends saw Vic and Mel's social media posts about parenting, she took it upon herself to set the record straight about their awful audacity and parenting. Well, social media is obviously fickle, and soon people turned on them. I stopped receiving hate messages, so the legal issue was that they tried to sue me for defamation when they saw some TikTok and Reddit videos with my post. But thankfully their case got dismissed. And well, finally, their audacity was at its peak when they begged me for almost 2 weeks that I donate them eggs once more so their kid can have a biological sibling. Even after all the legal, social and personal conflict, they asked for it again, saying how important it is for children to have siblings and that gay couples deserve to have a big biological family too. They called me everything from life-giving god to homophobic imbecile because of my autism. I refused firmly and filed for a restraining order. So that's all, folks. Oh wow, I was very sure in my comment about them being a couple of jackasses. These 2 guys absolutely suck as human beings. Good for you, OP, for filing that restraining order. Hopefully that was the last you ever saw of them. So on that note, I'm just gonna say, OP, I wish you all the best in the future. And that's it for today's video.